breathtaking new McLeod Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa, new home of the Northern Iowa Panthers. It's national TV christening tonight in the Missouri Valley opener against Bradley. It is the Bradley Braves and the Northern Iowa Panthers, two of the four teams that made it to the NCAA tourney last year out of the ultra-competitive Missouri Valley Conference, a league shaping up to have another big year this season. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cedar Falls. Dave Revson alongside Doug Gottlieb. Two teams that made it to the tourney last year, Doug. And let's start with Bradley, a Sweet 16 team, but they will have a very different look this season.
Yeah, completely different look. Only their head coach and their uniforms, name across the front of their chest, look the same. 67% of the scoring is gone, and that mainly Marcellus Somerville playing professionally in Hungary and Patrick O'Brien playing in the NBA, the 9th pick overall in the first round of the NBA draft. But this team shooting a ton of threes, playing at a much quicker pace, and playing a much different style for Jim Les.
As for Northern Iowa, the style is similar to last year, but a new look in terms of the guy on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, on the bench now, you have the former lead assistant to Greg McDermott, who's moved down the road to Iowa State, and it's Ben Jacobson. No, it's not the former Panther Ben Jacobson. It's the former assistant coach here, Ben Jacobson. Very confusing. We'll make sure we sort it all out. All you need to know is this is still a very good team, plays at a measured pace, solid, doesn't turn the ball over, and they have 3 returning starters, 3 returning stars. And this team has already taken down the likes of Iowa and a couple others.
Our Star Watch focusing on the backcourt.
Yeah, it does focus on the backcourt. That's really my focal point heading into this game. You look at Will Franklin and what he's done. We essentially microwaved him, Dave, and we saw him play against Iowa State. He goes for over 20. The guy is averaging over 20 points a game of late, shooting 63% from three-point range. And we talked about Brooks McCown. This guy sets the table. He is a key, can't turn the basketball over. Also has to hit some shots for the Panthers.
He's the all-time leading scorer in Iowa high school history, more than 1,000 points his senior year. We look at the rest of the lineups for Bradley. We told you about Franklin. Jeremy Crouch, a great shooter, 52% behind the arc, 5th nationally. And for the Panthers, in addition to McCown, keep an eye on the big guys. Stout and Coleman averaging better than 25 per game between them. Bradley, as you can see, averages more than 81 points per game. Northern Iowa hasn't given up more than 4 times in its last 44 games. So that basically gives you all you need to know. Bradley likes to score. Northern Iowa is a great defensive team, and we'll see what gives in this one as Daniel Ruffin brings it into the front court for the Braves. This is Will Franklin, who Doug talked about. Now Ruffin. Crouch. Not going to let him shoot that one. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now Crouch. 4 seconds to shoot. Into the lane. It's rejected by Stout. And Northern Iowa's got it in the person of Travis Brown, who hands it off to McCallum.
And we sold you on Northern Iowa's defense. That's about as good a half-court defensive segment as you're going to see this year in college basketball.
Saw right off the top just how good they are defensively. And then on the other end, it's the big guy, Eric Coleman, getting his first 2.
Very simple cross-screen, part of Northern Iowa's offense. They want to get the ball inside, play inside-out basketball.
This is J.J. Twy. Now Ruffin. Inside to Twy. Back out to Ruffin. A good defensive possession so far for Northern Iowa. Now the 3 out of the corner by Twy doesn't go. And the rebound is Stout.
And really the one weakness for Bradley is Twy's inability to shoot the ball, score, especially from three-point range.
Twy averaging only about 7 points per game as Stout rolls that one off the rim. And Crouch comes out of there with it for the Braves. Now nice Crouch pass. Right into the lane to Twy, who lays it in.
And that's why Twy is effective, though, because he finds points. He's essentially, 6'3", maybe listed 6'4". He's playing the 4 spot. Part of what Bradley's trying to do is play small, spread the floor, keep that lane from being clogged.
Jared Jostin. Now Coleman. Plows in there and misses. Rebound to Franklin, and here comes Bradley. Zach Andrews. That one goes off the rim, no good. And the Panthers come the other way.
Panthers will pick their spots as far as when they want to transition, take open shots like this one.
Jostin. Now Ruffin quickly the other way for the Braves, and Ruffin is fouled.
And Jostin setting up opposite the double team at the low block. And probably the biggest difference between last year with Greg McDermott and this year with Ben Jacobson as head coach of Northern Iowa is that they will push the ball occasionally on missed shots. Made shots, still going to walk it up, get in their sets. Of missed shots, they will transition, score a little bit more offensively.
So now Crouch. This is Ruffin.
A little matchup zone out of the out-of-bounds play.
Why? Has it knocked away. Here comes Northern Iowa. Jostin. 5 quick points for Jostin. Andrews.
Bradley's yet to be able to adjust to the fact that Twy is really not being guarded defensively.
Now it's knocked away. It's Adam Cook just in the game. Cook, the bounce pass to Brown, who lays it in. Travis Brown gets his first 2, and it's 9-2 Panthers. Now Ruffin tries to answer, and that's what they do so well. Daniel Ruffin with a three-pointer.
No, Ruffin and Franklin, ton of experience gained last year in the NCAA tournament. Remember, this is a team that was very average early in the year last year, then got all their pieces back together, made a big run, got into the NCAA tournament. Ruffin, a big reason why.
Kajoa Heligba is 11. He is in there for Northern Iowa, freshman out of the Minneapolis area. They've done very well recruiting in Minneapolis and have a lot of players from small towns in Iowa. So there are 2 recruiting bases as Heligba hits the 3. Now Franklin for the Braves. That's not there. And Cook's got it. Bradley looking a little rattled here, Doug. We're coming up on the first media timeout.
Well, it's rattling when you're sitting there playing offense for 30 seconds, 35 seconds, and you can get nowhere into that lane. And then you come down in Northern Iowa, known for scoring at the measured pace, is scoring quite easily. You sit there and play defense for 15, 20 seconds, then go play offense for 35 seconds, and then give up a layup, you're going to get frustrated.
Now the jumper out of the corner by Brown. Travis Brown has 5 early points, and Northern Iowa's come out like gangbusters, on top by 10 over the Braves. Coming right back to Cedar Falls, 10-point game.
When's it gonna start? I'll be here any minute.
It's that time of year again, when you'll find exceptional values on your favorite Lexus vehicles. The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Back in Cedar Falls, Iowa, 15-5 in favor of the Panthers, and getting it from just about everyone, including Travis Brown, is not a big score for them, Doug.
Heligba, though, penetrates, kicks out, shot clock going down, and they let the 3 go. But the secret to this game has been that Northern Iowa is shooting the basketball at the level that Bradley normally shoots. I mean, Northern Iowa, they only make about 7 threes a game. Look at the 3-point field goals already. They already have 3 early on the first half. We're not even in the first TV timeout.
Now Crouch is a great 3-point shooter, as we told you early on. He hits that one. A guy who's hitting 52% behind the arc. Their leading scorer at 17 per game.
Jeremy Crouch is one of those guys going to go in the YMCA like 10, 15 years from now. No one's going to want to pick him up. Then all of a sudden he'll play a couple games, and no one will ever let him sit and watch a game again.
Inside Coleman, and he gets fouled by Matt Sally, who just checked in for Bradley. So it's 15-8, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley in the Missouri Valley Conference opener for both schools.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
Who cried? I did.
Not me.
It was a sad ending and everything. I
saw you with your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment.
I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why you got...
The Holiday Miracle Sales Event. No real miracles, just $1.99 Jettas until January 2nd.
Expect more from a value meal. Introducing Wendy's Crispy Chicken Deluxe with all-white meat, bacon, and cheese, or the Double Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day. Do what tastes right.
Disciplined investing. It isn't about star fund managers. At Zero Price, it's about experienced investment teams that stay the course. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Volkswagen Jetta. Safe happens. And Wendy's. Do Wendy's new deluxe value meals. Do what tastes right.
Back in Cedar Falls, Iowa, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley, 15-8, a 7-point lead for the Panthers early on. They've done it with some hot three-point shooting. Bradley, meanwhile, Doug, needs some of these new faces, guys who were around last year but have played much bigger roles this year to pick it up.
And this is the difference between this level of basketball and the high major level basketball. This level of basketball, you have to get your guys to improve year after year after year. That's what Crouch has done, Franklin's done, Ruffin, Zach Andrews has done, and that's what Northern Iowa's done. I mean, you look at Grant Stout and Eric Coleman, they have a much bigger role this year because these are guys that are going to be in school for 4 years, and so their coaches, they have to work with them, improve their skill set, and heck, even when we watch practice today for both Northern Iowa and Bradley, they're constantly working on fundamentals and improving the skill set of their players.
Got a bit of an issue with the clock right now, which is delaying us. So we said a brand new arena here. Maybe still working out a few of the kinks.
Yeah, they are still working out a few of the kinks, but all in all, the best part about this arena, in addition to the fact that there isn't a bad seat in the house, they picked the proper size. 7,000 seats, that makes it a tough ticket when you have the big Missouri Valley Conference. It's a tough ticket tonight, and the students aren't even in school.
Yeah, it's sold out tonight. In fact, they sold some standing room tickets. But this is going to be a very hostile environment. Very different than the Unidome where they used to play, which they shared with the football team, which just really was not a good facility for basketball. This is a great basketball facility. Now Coleman inside. He's tough on the blocks. Eric Coleman's got 4.
Well, the scouting report is he loves to go over that right shoulder. But again, the improvement year to year, Coleman forced to go over his left shoulder's weak shoulder. He did so and scored easily.
That foul goes against Adam Cook as we remind you, catch a double dose of college basketball on ESPN2 Saturday. First at noon Eastern, Roy Hibbert and the Georgetown Hoyas face Courtney Sims in Michigan. Then at 2 Eastern, A.J. Price and UConn take on West Virginia as UConn goes on the road. College basketball on ESPN2 on Saturday.
Hey, we got blue uniforms at UConn. Who knew?
The first time they've broken them out this year. Very young, very talented UConn team. We'll see how they fare in a hostile environment in Morgantown. This is Sally. A 10-footer no good, and Coleman goes high to rip away the rebound. It's Jostin the other way, and they'll slow it up.
Well, you and I saw UConn just last week take on Pepperdine, and Pepperdine's new head coach told us that the best team they played all year was Northern Iowa.
Yeah, that's what Vance Wahlberg said. He said this was the best team that they had seen, and he had no idea we were even going to see them. He just mentioned that in passing, but passed that along earlier today to Ben Jacobson, who was pleased. A Halleck, but Coleman, nice ball work, but unfortunately Cook missed the layup. But beautiful passing there by Northern Iowa. They moved it perfectly. Just couldn't hit the nice pass shot. Now Ruffin inside to Sally, who misses. Franklin can't get it to go. Fresh 35 though for the Braves. Sally
Well, suddenly now kind of a change in the pace of this game, a little bit more erratic. But Matt Sally, his ability to score with his back to the basket. Jim Les loves the junior college transfer. The problem is they are yet to get Zach Andrews and Matt Sally both playing well in the same game.
That is Adam Veet, and that is what he does best.
Yep.
A great three-point shooter. That is his 23rd field goal of the year. 22 of them are threes as Ruffin gets fouled on the other end. It's going to be on a Heligba.
Bradley having trouble with dribble penetration, containing that dribble penetration, and they come over to help, and you have all these Panthers spread out all over the floor, able to catch and shoot.
Daniel Ruffin going to the free throw line. He's the half-brother of a guy many people probably remember quite well, A.J. Guyton, played at Indiana. His dad, Daniel Sr., played at Bradley, coaches at Peoria Central High School, where he was a teammate of Sean Livingston of the Clippers, state title team, Peoria Central.
You get backcourt right there.
That's not bad. Ruffin hits them both. 20-12 in favor of Northern Iowa as Twy checks back in and Ruffin sits down.
Bradley going to a full court pressure, 1-2-2, or a little bit of 1-2-1-1. Something they did last year, but they have a far quicker team than they had last year.
Panthers don't have much trouble with it. Veet now looking for McCowan.
Well, you don't have much trouble, but still, you get into the front court, now you only have 20 seconds to run offense. It's far different.
This is Brown. Crouch knocks it away. Ball on the floor, and it goes out of bounds off Crouch. It'll be Northern Iowa's ball.
Only 10 seconds on the shot clock, so look for Northern Iowa. A little quick hitter, quick set. They have a million of them. How long did it take them today in shoot-around to go through all their sets?
It was unreal. Yeah, they just run a ton of sets. See what they do here, Doug. McCowan. And now Crouch coming the other way. Crouch going to shoot the three. They left it way short. And it looked like Twy was out of bounds, so that's going to go to Northern Iowa. One of the best three-point shooters in the country with the air ball there, and so far that's been the story of the night for Bradley, down 8.
This gives me the feeling like she's not listening to me.
Have you tried not saying every other word?
What?
Remember your ski trip story?
Yeah.
I was going down the hill and there was a crowd and
come on, that's
and I was
me.
Stuff either happens or it doesn't happen. Holy.
The Holiday Miracle Sales Event. No real miracles, just $1.99 Jettas until January 2nd.
Move over, Harry Potter. The next big fantasy action adventure is here.
We fight as one!
Aragon.
Take care with the little bones. Hate to see you choke.
PG.
You really should take NyQuil for that cold. It'll relieve your symptoms and help you sleep. Sorry. You'll sleep like a bear. Like a hibernating bear. You'll sleep like
before you sign us up for this reality show?
Yeah.
Give me that.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best sleep you ever got with a cold medicine. And for nighttime sinus relief, try NyQuil Sinus.
Cheers. Tomorrow's gonna be awesome.
Are you ready for the ultimate girls' night out? The Descent. Unrated now on Blu-ray and DVD.
20-12, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley. As the years went along, the wins piled up. The fruits of his labor recorded in left-hand margins, across headlines, down newspaper columns, and on the faces of Bob Knight's fans, players and admirers, ruffling feathers, molding young minds, writing his own legend on the way to 880 career victories, more than any other coach in history. Knight goes for that historic win tomorrow night as Texas Tech takes on UNLV, 9 Eastern time on ESPN2. If it doesn't get it then, Monday they take on New Mexico, midnight Eastern on ESPN2. So we are your place to watch Bob Knight as he makes his run at history.
And you think about Bob Knight and how long he has been in this game, but the dramatic effect he has had on the college game, the motion offense, essentially his baby. It's been taught before, it's been taught after, but when you say motion, passing game, screening, ball movement, generally the discussion always comes back to Bob Knight.
Be interesting to watch Bob Knight go for history tomorrow night. Again here on ESPN2. Right now we got a good one going on. Northern Iowa and Bradley 20-12 in favor of the Panthers. Missouri Valley Conference opener for both of these schools. Northern Iowa shot it very well early on in this game. They've hit 8 field goals, 4 of them threes.
See, I like this look from Bradley. Go to a zone. Northern Iowa has a ton of plays, ton of set plays, but all of them, or most of them, from man to man. Play them a zone. I know they can shoot it. You can still match up. And teams have a tendency to stand. Even if they're good shooting teams, well-coached teams, they have a tendency to stand almost like they're stunned that somebody's actually playing them a zone.
This is Twy. After the turnover, off glass, doesn't go. Stout comes out of there with the rebound.
Not a good shot from Twy. Don't work that hard defensively, then shoot an off-balance shot like that.
Now McCowan. We're going to try the alley-oop to Coleman. It hit Crouch. It went off the bottom of the backboard. It's going to be Northern Iowa ball.
Eric Coleman is the prototypical mid-major big man. Grows up close to University of Minnesota, and yet because he's 6'6", a bit undersized, doesn't get recruited by the Big Ten.
Now McCowan, nowhere to go. Jumper by Brown is good.
I mean, that's really the story of Missouri Valley big guys. Is the Big Ten misses on them, and they keep their players for 4 years, and they improve. That's why they can take down some of the big boys when they get the NCAA tournament.
This is Stout. A little out of control, gets it back, and he'll go to the free throw line as Andrews got him.
Well, that's just the size disparity of Twy. Twy on the inside, 6'4", guarding a much bigger Stout, 6'8".
Stout is from tiny New Sharon, Iowa. He's the small school player of the year in the state of Iowa. National Honor Society member, Sunday school teacher, just a good all-around guy. Got 2 of his brothers, 2 of his cousins played on his high school team. In fact, in one game, they had all 5 Stouts on the floor at one time.
That was a stout lineup.
Yes. It was, yeah. Oh, we both had the same one coming.
Yes. Is it me, or does his haircut, is that just Iowa basketball? Iowa small school basketball. Get about, what, a 2 on the 2 guard on the sides, maybe a 4 guard up top. What, they didn't cut your hair at the dorms in Northwestern?
Stylist. Brought in our own stylist. They'd pamper you. Massage.
This is a 1 or 2 barber team. There's no question about it.
A whistle away from the ball. Now we get a foul on Northern Iowa. It's going to go against Travis Brown. Past the midway point of the first half here. First half that Northern Iowa has played exceptionally well. J.J. Twy. Is it inside now to Andrews. Got a 3-second call, didn't get it. Ruffin had to go off his foot, but Bradley retains possession. Andrews working on Coleman. Offensive foul. No, went the other way. On Coleman.
Let's take a look. We got Coleman. Yeah, it's a good call.
Crouch thought about the 3 now in the corner. Adams misses. The rebound to Coleman.
You know, what's interesting about the crowd reaction when they see a 3-second or they see it travel. Watching a basketball game in Iowa is a lot like watching a football game in Texas, where everybody played basketball growing up.
Coleman working hard, misses that one. Andrews the rebound.
And Andrews again playing that right shoulder. Coleman loves to go a little left hand, little jump hook.
Now Ruffin Second air ball on a 3 for Bradley.
From
This
that
is
same
a
spot,
very
too.
good shooting team.
Yeah, from that same spot. There used to be a dome effect. Now it's the excuse. I played in a dome my entire career. That's my excuse.
People just couldn't see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Imaginary dome.
All right. If that works for you.
So again, playing that right shoulder.
So you can sleep at night. Coleman. Nice move.
Yes, he likes to go left, but the steal from Jay Billis, he can really go left.
That's 6 points for Coleman. And Ruffin is fouled on the way by. He's going to go against Jostin.
Scatter report is quite clear. He wants to go over that right shoulder. Now, one time he went to the baseline, but Andrews playing that right shoulder. But you see, Coleman knows how to use his right arm. Just a little mini hook. Without hooking with his arm, he hooked just a little bit with his elbow, creates space. What a solid interior presence he is.
So nearly averaging a double-double.
You don't round up?
No, I don't think you do for something like that.
All right.
You could say he's averaging 10 rebounds per game, but I don't think you'd give him a double-double. It's very arcane. Part of the game. Ruffin gets the roll.
All right, you're Bradley, you're down 12. You need to start getting some stops. Pace of the game is definitely favoring Northern Iowa. You're having trouble scoring at the half court. Ooh.
Brown. Tell you, everything's going right for Northern Iowa so far. It's a double score, 28-14 in favor of the Panthers against the team that made it to the Sweet 16 last year. Adams hits a big 3.
Adams with his feet set, gets in rhythm, hits the jump shot, but they have to contain the dribbler at the defensive end.
Adams, a kid who grew up in Metamora, Illinois, town of about 2,500. Not far from Peoria, wanted desperately to play for the Braves, and seeing that dream come true. Big 3 there for him to kind of stem the tide a little bit. Now Cook. It's going to go against Bradley. So it's 28-17. Ben Jacobson's team having its way early on against the Braves.
Who cried?
I did.
Not me.
It was a sad ending and everything. I
saw you with your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment. I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why you got...
The Holiday Miracle Sales Event. No real miracles, just $1.99 Jettas until January 2nd.
Bring home the best from ESPN Home Entertainment with 5 new DVDs exclusively at Walmart. Relive the year's greatest sports moments.
We're bringing you the best of the best
On SportsCenter Year in Review, featuring 2 hours of the most exciting highlights.
Young scores.
And 4 more DVDs with compelling stories. A great holiday gift for any sports fan. Own these one-of-a-kind titles. Available now, exclusively at Walmart.
Fantastic. Quality. Wow.
Thanks to the latest Bose technology, it is now possible to have for the first time the same noise reduction benefits in on-ear headphones as we achieved in the award-winning Quiet Comfort 2 around-ear headphones. And now you can choose your preferred style, QC2 or the new QC3 headphones. Wear them when you fly to experience less noise at the flick of a switch. And create your own private sanctuary. Originally designed for planes, owners tell us about other uses, less distraction at work, to unwind after a hectic day, or to find your own space.
The sound quality is fantastic. Peace.
Order QC2s or the new smaller QC3 headphones. Try them risk-free for 30 days. Order by January 31st for a free MP3 player, and you can make 12 easy payments. Quiet Comfort headphones. Hear the difference Bose technology makes.
Throw.
28-17, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley. We just had a proposal at midcourt. It appears it was accepted. Yes. Hard to really say that. Northern Iowa on top, and Doug, we're moving into conference play here in the Missouri Valley. It's been a good non-conference portion of the schedule so far for the Valley. You see the significant wins so far and some really impressive victims, including Wisconsin, who's having a great year. Missouri State took them down Wichita State beat LSU and Syracuse on the road. Very impressive.
Well, here's the impressive ones. The most impressive are these three, especially because LSU was at LSU by Wichita State, Wisconsin neutral site against Missouri State, and Syracuse a guarantee game, which usually guarantees you a loss. Not so the case with Wichita State. But we also have to mention that, look, there have been some recent losses. Northern Iowa losing to Loyola Chicago. Wichita State dropped 2 over the weekend. So some notable wins. Missouri Valley has definitely earned national respect. But let's not overdo it. Let's not say they're just dominating college basketball. They have earned the respect, and rightfully so, to be a multiple bid league, definitely this year.
Ruffin misses there. The rebound to McGowan. Now this league 5-2 against the top 25 this year, and as much hype as this league got last season, getting 4 teams into the NCAA tournament, they only won 6 games against the top 25 last year, so just 1 shy of that total already. They were 6-7 last year. Shot clock at 15. McCowan hanging in the air, hits off glass. First 2 for Brooks McCowan, and they were tough.
Now Bradley continues to push their defense out further and further, and Northern Iowa continues to beat them off the dribble, especially late in the shot clock.
Franklin misses off back rim. Rebound though to Sally.
I think, getting back to the Missouri Valley, one of the parts of the discussion, one of the reasons that this is going to be a consistent conference as opposed to other mid-major conferences across the country is, so far, for the most part, they've held on to their coaches. The only place they didn't last year was Greg McDermott here at Northern Iowa.
It's away, but Northern Iowa retains possession. This is Stout working on Sally. Shot clock down to 10, and we got a whistle, and that's going to go against Sally.
Look at the RPI here. Now, it's number 3 overall, but the RPI is a bit misleading. I mean, we both agree that right now it's a little early to say the RPI locked in stone. This is not the 3rd best conference in the country. That's not taking away from what the Valley's done. You and I both really enjoy the level of competition, the level of quality basketball in this league. But let's be honest, it's not the 3rd best league.
No, I would agree. And here's the problem with the RPI this early in the year. LSU and Syracuse, those 2 wins for Wichita State, those right now do not count as top 50 wins because neither one of those teams is in the top 50 in the RPI. As McCowan misses the 3, the rebound to Andrews, who smartly throws it out of bounds. I beg your pardon, they're going to give it to Northern Iowa.
I believe what they're saying is he had already stepped out of bounds before he made that very, very high basketball IQ play. The shot goes up from McCowan. Andrews gets the rebound. Nothing wrong with this play, but he apparently stepped out of bounds before he made it.
Then on the flip side, Doug, I mean, you talked about a loss to Loyola Chicago. I think it's going to be good in the Horizon League this year, and maybe that was a questionable loss. That's a top 50 team in the RPI right now.
Right, Kansas not a top 50
Kansas
team.
isn't the top 50 in the RPI.
Look, it's
all going to even out as the season goes on.
It is, and if you're a Valley fan, look, you're still going to get 3, 4, maybe even 5 teams. Just let it play out and understand that the Missouri Valley has earned a tremendous amount of respect this year.
Jimmy Les very frustrated right now. Talk about the friendly roll there for Joseph. Lead is 13. Crouch. This is Twy. Andrews. And Andrews is fouled on the way by. That's going to go on Stout.
We talked a little bit about Ben Jacobson assuming the role as the head coach. He told us that a couple of his buddies were at the mall, and they heard whispers and somebody talking that, I can't believe they hired Ben Jacobson. He just got done playing. How could he be the head coach? Not that Ben Jacobson.
Ben Jacobson, a great player. The other Ben Jacobson, a great player here for Northern Iowa, as Andrews gets the role, but he just graduated last year. This Ben Jacobson played at the University of North Dakota. Pulled off an impressive win against Iowa, Doug, as they not only beat Iowa, they also beat Iowa State this year. First time they had ever won at Iowa 21 games, series that dates back to 1906. We were asking him, well, what's it like when you beat Iowa? He said, well, I go to the same donut shop every day. I walk in there, no one ever says a word. I walked in there after we beat Iowa, everyone applauded.
So the same thing happened in lunch.
It's a good day if you walk around, people just clap wherever you go.
That doesn't happen to you?
You know, alternating Thursdays. This is Jostin. As it's stripped, here comes Ruffin for Bradley. He's got Crouch with him, but Ruffin going to take it himself. Lost it on the way up.
It's been that kind of half for Bradley. And we saw Bradley against Iowa State in Des Moines, and everything went right.
Yeah, they were great.
And it's been this kind of half. You have a breakaway layup. He tries to avoid Grant Stout. Stout doesn't even try and block the shot. Slips out of his hand.
Northern Iowa by a dozen, 32-20. Stout. Make it 14.
Now you got to guard him right there. That's a sweet spot. Grant Stout is a better shooter than he is post-up player. Bradley knows better than that.
That's why they're going to give him that shot. And he hits it.
Well, Twy can change the way Northern Iowa is playing by doing one of two things. Either one, making himself a screener when they help off him, or two, just knocking down open shots. But they are leaving, sagging, and helping off on Ruffin and Franklin by not guarding J.J. Twy.
Gowan.
Got to travel with that.
He's going to try the three. The leading all-time scorer in the state of Iowa. Have 5 points in this game.
Struggling with his three-point shot this year, but I venture to say you don't leave Iowa kids wide open.
Now Ruffin tries to answer. That doesn't go. That'll be Bradley ball. So Brooks McCowan, averaging 10 points per game, gets 3 right there. It's Northern Iowa on top by 14.
Stephen A. Smith there. Tonight, or quite frankly, Shaq takes on Phil. My front page panel stares down Bobby Knight, and an NBA player spreads holiday cheer. It's all coming your way after the game on ESPN2.
Capital One Bowl Week continues Saturday with the Alamo Bowl at 4:30, followed by the Chick-fil-A Bowl at 8 on ESPN.
He's dead. 27 years I worked with him, building up the business from nothing. He never took a sick day in his life. Then bang, a heart attack. And now I have a new partner and a 51% shareholder. His 24-year-old kid. I think I'm about to have a heart attack.
Throw out your notions of what you can talk about with a financial advisor. Come to Smith Barney, where wealth works.
Who cried?
I did. Not me.
It was a sad ending and everything. I
saw you with your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment. I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why you got...
Holiday Miracle Sales Event. No real miracles, just $199 Jettas until January 2nd.
Ralphie, what would you like this year?
I want a Motorola C139 with texting, games, and graphics.
No, you'll run the bill up.
It was the classic parent cell phone block.
You'll run the bill.
My only hope was to go straight to the source and ask him myself.
I want a Motorola C139 with texting, games, and graphics.
You'll run the bill up, kid. Ho, ho.
No. Hadn't they heard of GoPhone from Singular? Where you can pick your plan or pay as you go with no surprise bills. Solving the parent-kid cell phone conundrum. Whoa. Singular, raising the bar.
Scott Reese in the studio. Coming up on the halftime report, big news concerning steroids in baseball, and it could mean big trouble for Barry Bonds. Also, will anybody catch Bob Knight once he catches Dean Smith on the all-time wins list? We'll investigate that. And, of course, the Emerald Bowl in progress over on ESPN. We'll have updated scores and highlights. Rick Majerus, Steve Lavin with me at halftime. We'll see you in 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Reverend.
Thanks, Scott. 37-23, Northern Iowa on top, and the Main reason they're up by so much is they really aren't missing many shots, Doug.
Well, I think the key here, you look at this, 63% from the fields, but Northern Iowa is shooting 5 for 7 from three-point range. The big thing is that Bradley, as good a defensive team as they are known for being in the pace with which they want to play, they're giving up far too much dribble penetration, and so Northern Iowa is shooting open threes with their feet set, and they have good shooters. Not a great offensive club, but if you allow guys that can shoot the basketball, get their feet set, beyond balance, in rhythm to their home gym, they're going to shoot the ball well.
Now Twy. No good. Rebound, though. Good job by Franklin. Bradley needs every possession he can get. Crouch leaves it short, and Stout gets the rebound.
Oh, such a nice move, and they left it short. Created space for himself. The big thing is, though, Franklin has not been able to create separation off that pick and roll because there's an extra man in the lane helping off J.J. Twy.
Jostin. Here comes Andrews for Bradley. This is Franklin, now Crouch. That one was partially blocked.
There's a case of Franklin being too unselfish. He's a good shooter. He's been shooting 63% from three last 4 games. Shoot that.
Feet. Doesn't get that one to go, but Stout, not boxed out, and he gets the rebound and puts it in. A 16-point lead. Stout's got a half dozen. Franklin. Bradley just looks out of sorts here, Doug.
Not good enough shots. They're taking spinning, mid-range jump shots at the man in your face off the very first touch. That's not good enough on the road when you're falling out of the game.
Coleman working on Andrews. Coleman just backing his way in. And it's going to go against Stout. Reaching over the top.
There's scouting report basketball. Zach Andrews got it, wasn't going to allow himself to be hooked, played that strong shoulder, and then did a solid job when Coleman spun to that baseline of kind of forcing him underneath, making it a difficult shot.
J.J. Twy going to go to the free throw line. Talking about small town kids. Twy might have everyone beaten. From Verona, Missouri. Town of about 700 people in the Ozarks. I was talking about it with him today. He had 16 people in his graduating class in high school, and they won the state basketball championship. Now, granted, it was a small school, but that's impressive.
It's not even a gathering, 16 people.
It really isn't. That commencement didn't take very long, huh?
No.
Oh, they got to read all these names. McCowan. That's 7 for him. 41-23 Northern Iowa. Crouch. Big 2 points there.
Well, Jim Les told me he loves his kids because they're competitors. Let's find out what they're made of.
Northern Iowa taking a timeout.
Watch Brooks McCowan here, Dave, as he comes off the high screen roll in the last offensive set. He's not a great shooter, so they go underneath the screen. A little hesitation, though, and Zach Andrews goes back to his man. Then there's space. He dips that shoulder. There's a guy, not a great shooter, not a great athlete, but you said all-time leading scorer in the state of Iowa, knows how to score, knows how to find points, knows how to create a seam, just with a little hesitation dribble.
Take a moment to remind you we've got a double dose of college hoops on ESPN2 coming your way on Saturday, noon Eastern. It is Georgetown against Michigan. Then at 2 Eastern, A.J. Price, UConn, going on the road to battle West Virginia. College basketball on ESPN2 Saturday. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. See how Michigan bounces back from that blowout loss, Doug, to UCLA.
Wow, embarrassing. Tommy Amaker, 3 returning starters, and they go into UCLA. Look, UCLA is good, but they're not that
number 1
good.
team in the country.
Well, they're good, but they're not that good. I mean, you can't be thumped that many points. That jumped out to a ton of college basketball coaches. And Georgetown, frankly, has been disappointing. Started the season a top 10 ranked team, not even ranked now. And Roy Hibbert, Green, and you get that backcourt in order, getting ready for Big East play.
This is Coleman. Takes it himself. Andrews goes down. No call either way. Battle for the rebound. It's going to be Northern Iowa ball.
Well, Bradley's going to have to shore up their defense, shore up their rebound. They're small. They get out-rebounded on average 4 per game. And now as you step up into Missouri Valley Conference play, they're going to continue to be out-rebounded because teams know what you do, know what your weaknesses are. But the big thing is, if you're going to play these guards, you're going to play 4 guards, you better defend and force people out of that lane, pressure the basketball.
It's going to go against Twy. That's going to be number 2 on Twy. Northern Iowa leading the rebound battle 2013 right now, Doug's kind of what you're talking about.
This may be a game where Jim Les is forced to go with 2 bigs. Use Matt Sally with Zach Andrews in the second half.
As the freshman Adam Cook misses the first free throw. He's one of 4 different guys who had committed to Greg McDermott. Ben Jacobson was able to convince to stay in the fold here at Northern Iowa. Didn't lose anyone after McDermott left for Iowa State.
Now Cook is going to fit nicely into the spot vacated at the end of the year by Grant Stout. Very similar player, maybe even a better shooter. We'll see if he improves as much as Stout has in his time here at Cedar Falls.
He's struggling with the shot early, just 1 of 17 from behind the arc. Ben Jacobson was telling us today he is a good shooter. He will snap out of it. Ruffin.
Maybe even Cook, long off the lane, using his size.
A 6-second differential, game clock and shot clock. Ruffin trying to work his way around Coleman. Now Franklin. That's what Bradley does so well. Those are the first 3 points for Will Franklin, the guy we highlighted off the top. That would explain a lot. I don't think he got it off. But Heligba left it short, but he didn't get it off anyway. Northern Iowa has been brilliant in this first half. I mean, if you're a coach, you like those numbers, Doug.
Yeah, 59% and holding Bradley just 28 points. That's a perfect half of basketball for Northern Iowa.
It's 42-28 here, a 14-point lead in Cedar Falls for Northern Iowa. Let's go to Scott Reese.
All right, Rever, thanks. So the Panthers already pretty much own the state of Iowa in terms of basketball, now trying to own the MVC, at least in the conference opener. And we welcome you into the halftime report. Scott Reese hanging out with Rick Majerus and Steve Lavin. We'll talk with these guys about Bob Knight's pursuit of Dean Smith, and he could actually pass the Dean tomorrow night on ESPN2. We'll talk much more about that. But first, a potential bombshell in Major League Baseball. And federal investigators can now use the names and urine samples of about 100 Major League players in their steroid probe. The samples were taken in 2004 in conjunction with supposedly confidential testing. Today's appeals court ruling could have implications for Barry Bonds if, in fact, his name is on the list of players who tested positive. Question is, should other players be concerned?
The players really do not have to be concerned about whether they're going to be indicted, even if their samples from 2003 shows that they used steroids. Too much time has gone by, and the government has really never indicated that they're going after those who use. There's only one ball player that should be concerned, and that's Bonds of the San Francisco Giants. And the reason is because they may use that sample to show that he did use steroids. And remember, they're after him to see whether or not he lied before the grand jury. And when he said he didn't knowingly use steroids, if they have a sample that says he did use steroids, they may decide to use that as part of the evidence to indict him.
Of course, we'll have blanket coverage of this story tonight on SportsCenter over on ESPN after the conclusion of the Emerald Bowl. Coming up on the halftime report, Bob Knight getting ready to make some history, perhaps as soon as tomorrow night. But once Bob is the all-time record holder, which other coaches might have a shot at the General down the line?
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com.
It moves me.
Pretty surprising margin, 14-point lead for Northern Iowa, 2 teams that went to the tourney last year. The Panthers have had the better of it. Doug shooting about 57% from the field in the first half, and normally you'd say, well, the other team's just shooting well, but you're saying there's something Bradley could do about it.
Well, I think defensively, Bradley has to contest those threes. You can't allow Northern Iowa to get their feet set, get prepared, and step into the shot and make jump shots. As you watch Northern Iowa in early possession in the first half, the ball goes inside to Grant Stout. The double team comes. You see the double team. Now, Will Franklin's left to guard 2 guys, but Smartly, Northern Iowa steps over to the ball side, makes the rotation longer. Nice play by Brown. As Jostin's open, feet set, in range, in rhythm, hits the three. Now, late in the first half, the ball goes to the top. Bradley's in his zone. Watch these three defenders from Bradley. No one runs out. And Brooks McGowan's wide open, in his range, in his rhythm. Look, these guys are good shooters. Now, McGowan's only shooting 27% from three for the year, but you allow a guy at home to be in rhythm, have confidence, have a lead, just step into a shot. Guy's going to knock down shots more often than not. You have to make them uncomfortable, make them move, make them shoot the threes off the dribble.
Beginning to be a bit of a disturbing trend for the Braves. It's the fourth straight half where their opponent has shot 50% or better. See whether they're able to put the clamps down here in the second half. They certainly need to. Coleman misses that one. Andrews has the rebound. Now Bradley wants to run it. Andrews.
Wow.
How about that? They call him for the walk. For the late whistle there, Doug.
It's a bad call. If he's allowed to get away with the first dribble, and that wasn't a travel. I would agree with you. It's the lateness of the whistle. That's the big jump step that they teach in every practice in America.
So it remains a 14-point game. Coleman. Brown.
Now Bradley's coming down to try and swipe that ball out of Coleman's hands as soon as he puts it on the floor, puts it on the bounce. It's leaving players like Brown open, and he knocks down another three.
This is Franklin. Now Twy. Franklin.
And Franklin got almost 0 touches in the first half until he hit a late three. Obviously, he's going to come out offensive-minded in the second half.
So just 5 points in the game for guys, their second leading scorer. Coleman. They call him for the offensive foul. That's number 2 on Coleman.
Oh, nice play by Bradley, sliding over to take the charge. But this is a called set play. Ball goes down to the corner because Andrews was stepping out hard, showing on the pick and roll, and he ran over the defense.
Twy inside Andrews. Andrews working on Stout.
Go right at him. He has a couple fouls. Stout didn't even put up any defense.
First field goal of the game for Zach Andrews, who averages 11 per game.
This is where your experience from last year has to take over. Both these teams are very experienced.
Jostin, that's short. And nice job by Ruffin to save it. Real numbers there for Franklin. Goes up with it anyway. Stout comes down with the board. And Andrews is called for the fouls. They both go down very hard.
That's a beautiful rebound by Stout. Stout was able to hold off Andrews with his left hand, grab the rebound with his right hand. Nice play, getting the ball to Franklin. Franklin tries to draw the foul. Watch, look at that. One-handed rebound. They love their wrestling in Iowa, but apparently not when you take down a Panther basketball player.
Zach Andrews going to take a seat after his second foul. We'll look at Ben Jacobson, first-year head coach. The lead assistant the last 5 years and taking over for Greg McDermott, who left for Iowa State. Stout going to the stripe.
Wow, look at that.
Third on J.J. Twy. I'm sorry, Doug.
No, 57% shooting in the first half, and that's not bad. I mean, look, Bradley shot 5-11 from 3, but you go 57% shooting. That ball is going inside too easy, too often.
Stout hits the free throw. I was talking with Ben Jacobson about the adjustment of being a first-year coach, being a head coach, and what that's meant. And one of the things he said is, you know, the guys, the older guys on this team, and he mentioned Stout as well as McGowan and Coleman. He said they've done a ton of the coaching. I mean, you have veterans like that, it makes such a difference.
He also said that when Greg McDermott left and took the Iowa State job, he probably could have made about the same amount of money being an Iowa State assistant, staying in his comfort zone. And he was a little hesitant at first to take the job.
Ruffin stepped out of bounds.
And, you know, as any of us who are married know, that our wives sometimes give us the simplest and quickest advice. He asked his wife, you know, what she thought. And she said two things. She said that you want to be a head coach because now's your chance. And if you are a head coach, we got 2 kids now. Can we get a new house? The answer was yes.
The answer was yes and yes, right? Yeah.
Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Crouch with the steal, Twy the other way. J.J. Twy left open again. They're just going to leave him open, and he's going to shoot it.
He took his time, got his balance, got his rhythm. J.J. Twy, smart play. You can also become the screener. When they're laying off you, there's no help on the screen as well.
It's 8 for J.J. Twy. Bradley back within 11. Coleman working on Sally. Right to the hoop. That's tough to stop.
Well, I mean, look, they're playing his left hand, but not as if he can't dribble at all with his right hand.
Ruffin on the other end. That's not there with the 3, and Coleman the rebound. A foul underneath. It's going to go against Northern Iowa.
Watch Sally, not Sally. He's playing on his left hand, but my goodness, you can't just give up dribble penetration like that. That's taking the scattered report a little too literally.
Beg your pardon, that foul's going to go against Twy, so that's going to be number 4 on him. J.J. Twy's going to have to sit down.
It's one thing to force a guy baseline. It's another thing to give the guy baseline.
Stout might be bleeding. I think that's the issue here.
I think it'd be more shocking if he wasn't bleeding after that takedown. He doesn't bleed. We can't cut him.
Look at Grant Stout, so obviously he'll have to take a seat until they're able to cover that up. Cook comes in for Northern Iowa. Jostin.
Coming down hard to double on Coleman when he gets in the post.
Ball deflected. It's going to stay with the Panthers.
And Bradley doing a much better job of setting up their half-court defense, limiting penetration in the second half. The question is, did they dig themselves far too deep a hole?
13-point game, 48-35. Seconds on the shot clock. It's stolen by Ruffin. And Ruffin nearly traveled, then he's able to get it to Adams, and didn't know it was coming. Now he's got to work for every shot, Doug. Crouch for 3. Got it.
Can he shoot? 52% in the year. Guy's taken over 50% of his shots from behind the three-point line. Why not? Shooting a better percentage from 3 than you are from 2.
10-point games got very quiet here. Beautiful new facility in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Coleman, not quiet for long. Ruffin the other way trying to answer. It was blocked by Cook, but it's going to be a foul against the Panthers.
Well, big time mistake by Matt Sally. You got the game under control, crowd out of the game. You cannot get caught reaching for a pass and giving up an open dunk.
There is the dunk. Coleman throwing it down. It's Northern Iowa by a dozen.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
Welcome. Welcome to a brand new day. Welcome to a place where books rewrite themselves. Where you can drag and drop people wherever they want to go. Where maps are rewritten. And anyone can be famous. Where we're more powerful together than we ever could be apart. Welcome to the Human Network.
It's that magical time of year.
Get a special lease offer on a C230 sports sedan with a powerful 2.5-liter V6 at the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event, now through January 2nd. There's never been a better time to get that Mercedes-Benz on your wish list.
I'm eating this amazing chicken enchilada. Gooey sauce, melty cheese, but it's...
Inchophobia, fear of messy enchiladas. I have just the thing, a chicken enchilada. No, the sauce and cheese are on the inside.
Genius.
Please, doctor.
Taco Bell's chicken enchilada grilled stuffed burrito. Smothered enchilada taste, wrapped up and grilled to go. For more enchilada taste and less enchilada price, think outside the bun.
That's me, Brett Favre. And it's my 9th day with Prilosec OTC. I thought I had to miss out on stuff because of frequent heartburn. But with Prilosec OTC, my thinking's changed. Day 2, I had the boys over for crawfish. Day 5, I just chilled. Today, I'm working at home. Zero heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day with Prilosec OTC. It's day 9 for me. What day are you on?
We are back in Cedar Falls, Northern Iowa, on top of Bradley by a dozen. Braves, of course, fresh off the Sweet 16 last year. Jimmy Les, former Bradley Brave, led him there. Guy was the Missouri Valley Player of the Year as a senior, 7 seasons in the NBA, but maybe best remembered for being a part of these great Bradley teams, Doug, in the mid-'80s with Hersey Hawkins.
Well, the last unbeaten team in the Valley, 16-0, 85, 86, 32-3, and Jim Les. The thing I like best, remember the uniforms that weren't tucked in? They were designed,
the Marquette DePaul kind of look.
And they had the trim on the bottom. Now, there's a tucked-in look, but, oh yeah, by the way, Jim Les, he can shoot the ball just a little bit.
Les, a suburban Chicago kid. His older brother, Tom, played at Bradley, and Jim had been a ball boy. He wanted to play at Bradley desperately. Dick Versace was the head coach, went and saw Les play when he was recruiting him and was totally unimpressed. Les did not take a shot the entire game. He was a pass-first kind of point guard. Said, I'm not offering this kid a scholarship, and Les was telling me, absolutely crushed. Went to Cleveland State and then ended up transferring back to Bradley. Again, the Valley Player of the Year, 15th all-time in the NCAA in assists, just 5 spots behind the guy who's sitting next to me.
Well, see, the thing is, you look at both these coaches, okay? Ben Jacobson, Jim Les, both the all-time assist leader at their respective schools, both point guards. I mean, it's clear if you want a guy who can run your program, you can get a guy who can pass the basketball, knows how to share the ball.
You campaigning for a job here? What are you doing?
Well,
I mean, you got a job.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Ruffin hits 1 of 2.
If you're my agent, you should want that 10%. By the way, I'm 10th now. I was 7th when I finished. These guys, I like it when these TJ Fords go pro early.
The early entry rule?
Yes.
Very kind to Gottlieb. 50-39 game. Northern Iowa is controlled throughout. They controlled the tempo, too. This is a Bradley team that averages better than 80 points per game. McCowan.
Just knows how to score. You know, not great speed, not a great shooter. Knows how to score. Finds points.
That'll make his parents happy. Marty and Marty. How about that?
Yeah. That's nice.
No, Marty and Marty.
Yeah.
They're both named Marty. Oh, Crouch hits the 3. He's got 11. You think that gets a little confusing?
Marty?
Yeah.
Marty? Yeah? What?
Both of them respond?
It's kind of like play-by-play announcers at ESPN named Dave.
Fair point. McGowan. That one's no good. Franklin the rebound. Foul on the Panthers is going to go against McGowan. Number 2 on him. Don't forget Double Dose of College Hoops on ESPN2 tomorrow night. Rutgers facing Tyler Hansbrough, North Carolina, and then it's Bob Knight. The pursuit of Dean Smith's record continues. Texas Tech and UNLV also available in high definition on ESPN2 HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. It's college basketball on ESPN2 Thursday as Ruffin misses the jumper. Rebound Coleman. Again, remember, Bob Knight could become the all-time winningest coach in college basketball history for the men tomorrow night.
Well, and at halftime, Coach Majerus and Coach Lavin both tried to break down who else can catch him. I think Mike Krzyzewski's probably the only one.
I think Krzyzewski's going to be the guy. Assuming he continues, he'll end up being the all-time leader, and I think it will stand for virtually an eternity. I just can't imagine in this day and age, Doug, where guys are making as much as they are, where the pressure is as intense as it is. As Ruffin hits a big three.
Here we go. 7-point game. No, I would agree with you. And remember, Bob Knight got his job when he was 23 years old.
Right, exactly.
And that just doesn't happen.
They were talking about Mark Few at halftime.
No chance he coaches in
I just don't think he coaches that long.
50s.
I totally agree. Ruffin the steal. Now Sally on the other end. He is fouled hard. That foul's going to go against Jostin.
Well, it started with their defense. They've shored up their defense, and once again, Ruffin picking the pocket of McAllen. Brooks McAllen, it's the second time in the second half he's had his pocket picked. They call that cookies in the playground, just took it from him. And Ruffin, the leadership, missed a little mid-range jump shot, then hits the three, gets the steal, sets up Sally at the line.
Sally at the free throw stripe. Did better than 62% on the year. You see what he's done the last 4 games. We saw him have a great game against Iowa State. So he hits that free throw. Junior college transfer out of Monroe College.
I talked to Jim Lester. How'd you get Sally to come to Peoria, upstate New York? In the Bronx, New York, going to junior college. He said, look, he was at Hutch at the Junior College National Championship Tournament. He really liked his skill set. He saw him play in the NCAA tournament. The NCAA tournament has opened up new doors for Bradley, winning those 2 games, getting to the Sweet 16.
It's such a great program through the years. National runners-up a couple times in the 50s.
Nice play by Franklin, taking the charge off the pass.
The offensive foul turns it back over to Bradley. But they've kind of fallen out of the national consciousness a little bit, Doug. They hadn't won an NCAA tournament game since Jim Les was playing for him.
Keep an eye on number 4, Will Franklin, sliding underneath. The freshman drives and charges. Good call. That's why you don't leave your feet, your freshman point guard. Get in that lane, stay on your feet unless you're going up to score the basket.
The second foul on a Heligba, so Ben Jacobson has some coaching to do. The lead down to 6.
See all the wonderful toys at the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event, now through January 2nd, with a special lease offer on the ML350, an Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's top safety pick. There's never been a better time to get that Mercedes-Benz on your wish list.
Down there, it's pitch black.
They were looking for adventure until they descended to a place no one was ever meant to go.
What was that? We stay here, we'll die.
Own the Descent. Unrated now on Blu-ray and DVD. At zero price, successful investing is about balancing risk and reward intelligently. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, 70% of our mutual funds beat the Lipper average, finding the right opportunity. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Life comes at you fast. Invest wisely. Invest with Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
Move over, Harry Potter. The next big fantasy action adventure is here.
We fight as one!
Aragon.
Take care of the little bones. Hate to see you choke.
PG.
52-46, Northern Iowa over Bradley. Dave Riffs and Doug Gottlieb in Cedar Falls. And Doug, we were talking before the break about Bradley and the success in the NCAA tournament last year, taking down Kansas in round 1.
Yeah, what a success story last year. Patrick O'Brien becoming the number 9 pick in the first round of the draft. Best part about this, though, when they went to the Sweet 16 was when they beat Pittsburgh. And, Pitt was a team well thought of last year, well thought of this year. Carl Krauser, senior point guard, went inside, got the ball to Patrick O'Brien, Marcellus Somerville. But the best part was when they went over to their cheering section, went into the stands and celebrated with the good folks of Peoria.
That was great, and it really has reinvigorated this program. Jim Les, you see the wins there, then losing to Memphis in the Sweet 16. But I was talking about it, 1950, 1954, they made the Final Four. This was one of the preeminent programs in the nation. They've won 4 NITs, but there was a long dormancy period. Question now is, will that count? And the answer is no.
Now, Ruffin has himself a mismatch. He's got a freshman guarding him. And look for Ruffin to take the ball to the basket with McAllen out of the game.
Now that foul on a Heligba, that's his third. Sally misses that one. And the rebound goes to a Heligba.
It's a big spot for Northern Iowa. Led this game throughout with an old little new on the floor. What a handsome Ruffin.
And Adams. It's a nice job there to throw it off the Northern Iowa player, and it'll be Bradley basketball.
The hands of Daniel Ruffin creating opportunities. Bradley in the game. Just down 6.
So intelligent, it knows precisely when to turn rear-wheel drive performance into all-wheel drive control. So intuitive, it's beyond machine. The all-new 306 horsepower G from Infiniti. Come see the all-new G now at the Infiniti Limited Engagement Winter Event.
Bring home the best from ESPN Home Entertainment with 5 new DVDs exclusively at Walmart. Relive the year's greatest sports moments.
We're bringing you the best of the best
on SportsCenter Year in Review, featuring 2 hours of the most exciting highlights.
Young scores.
And 4 more DVDs with compelling stories. A great holiday gift for any sports fan. Own these one-of-a-kind titles. Available now, exclusively at Walmart.
This season, an entirely new way to watch racing, bringing you closer to NASCAR than ever before. Introducing NASCAR Hot Pass. 5 driver channels with exclusive race coverage, live team audio between crew chief and driver, plus interactive features and real-time stats. This season, only DirecTV lets you ride shotgun. NASCAR Hot Pass. Order now and save $20 off the regular season price.
Hi, Holly. So, do you want to make $50 the easy way? I'll make $50 just for turning you on to this. It's a 50-50 offer. You get to dump unreliable cable and fall in love with DirecTV. Plus, you get a DVD player and $50. And I get $50. What's not to love?
Sign up your friends, and you'll both make $50. Go to directtv.com/refer.
So, do you want to make $50 the easy way?
52-46, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley. We've been talking about this, the Bradley team fresh off the Sweet 16, and you see the recent Sweet 16 appearances for the Valley. Missouri State made it back when it was Southwest Missouri. Steve Alford was the coach, and the common denominator of those prior 3, Doug, is those guys took off.
Yeah, that's the exact point, is that the difference in the Missouri Valley and what the Missouri Valley is now and what it was back then is, at least now, at least to this point, Jim Les is staying. Mark Turgeon got a huge raise. What's been reported is $750,000 for 10 years. And, I mean, that's the big key for Northern Iowa and for this entire conference. They want to maintain success. They got to maintain these coaches.
Now Sally is fouled inside.
And Northern Iowa goes to the Koch Arena. Wichita State redid their place, the Roundhouse, a couple years ago. And Mark Turgeon's club comes in kind of licking their wounds. Lost 2 in Las Vegas this weekend, but that is not going to be an easy place to play for the Panthers.
Well, Doug, that's number 4 on Coleman, so this is becoming a real issue here for Northern Iowa. Sally goes to the free throw line, and Bradley has done a great job of chipping away at this lead and getting back in the game, although Sally misses the free throw there.
That started the defensive end. But Daniel Ruffin picking up the point guard.
Heligba working around the screen, and the freshman misses the jumper. Heligba gets the rebound, though.
He got away with an elbow there, but Heligba has to understand this is not high school. You can't take over the game as a true freshman.
That foul goes against Will Franklin, who's not particularly happy with the call. It'll be his first.
Heligba's a scoring point guard, but look, your team is really struggling. Get the ball inside to big number 2. He had just caught Franklin with a little bit of an elbow. The official's trying to keep this thing clean. Not a good call.
The Heligba, freshman out of suburban Minneapolis. Told you that's a place where they get a lot of their players. See the second half as many field goals as turnovers for Northern Iowa. That after the great first half where they turned it over only 3 times. Different story here in the second half. And they turn it over again. Crouch. He is fouled before he goes up. That's going to go against Travis Brown.
Well, no matter, they're in the bonus. Crouch going to the free throw line. Dare I say, should be automatic. Crouch with the steal. Again, the pressure on the ball defensively and helping off of the guards on the weak side by guys like Ruffin has limited the touches of Coleman.
Crouch goes to the free throw line, 95% free throw shooter. Worked a ton on his game this offseason. You were talking about it in the first half, Doug, creating opportunities for himself offensively. That was what Jim Les told him he had to do. I mean, he played just 32 minutes in their final 18 games last year. Was really a non-factor in that Sweet 16 run. And now here he is, their leading scorer this season. Has really transformed his game, and Les gave a ton of the credit to Crouch and said just a tireless work ethic. He misses one of the free throws, which is news in and of itself.
Yeah, well, he had made 24 in a row up to that point. Of course, the old announcer jinx. Apologize. Hey, when guys miss free throws.
Just frustrates you?
Yes.
I mean, how can they miss them?
Yeah. I used to ask myself that many times.
Many times.
Yes.
Veet. That's well short. Veet gets it back, though. And back out to McCowan.
I don't know what was in the orange wedges, but Bradley's decided to play defense in the second half. I believe that ball was deflected when Veet took the jump shot.
So they've really extended the defense too, Doug.
Yeah, that is where you want Eric Coleman to have the basketball. 35 feet from the basket.
I think going to try another one. They didn't get a hand on that one. Crouch. That doesn't go.
That V3 could be a huge one. They had a great defensive possession. They help out on Eric Coleman.
That's going to go against Ruffin. That'll be his first. Missouri Valley opener, first ever national TV game at the brand new McLeod Center, Cedar Falls, Iowa. Dave Revson, Doug Gottlieb with you. And the crowd starting to get into it here. A sellout. They sold standing room tickets for this one. It was a big lead in the first half for Northern Iowa. Bradley has battled back. Now the lead is 8, Doug.
Well, they've cut down their turnovers and they've increased their field goal percentage running off the defensive side. But this last 3 was a big one. And, I think when you look at a scatter report, you have to understand, okay, it doesn't mean you only make a guy go right and give him the basket. But in this case, Zach Andrews has to understand Coleman's going left. I mean, he's going left 95% of the time, and as good as Ruffin is, you simply can't help off a shooter like Veet, especially in a big situation. Then they come down, quick shoot a three-point shot. Now all of a sudden they're back kind of stumbling, whereas this place was absolutely silent 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, Veet, the junior, gets him going. Now 24 field goals on the year, and 23 of them are threes. He is a three-point specialist, to say the least. 55% from behind the arc for Northern Iowa. They came in shooting 38% on the season. Veet going to try another one. That one doesn't go. And the rebound to Crouch.
Crouch very lucky. He tried to fight over the screen instead of trailing Veet.
If anyone would know how to get out of the three-point shooter, you'd think it would be Crouch, right?
Yep.
Sally Coleman hit the floor inside. Leaves it well short. Stout's got the rebound.
If you'd notice, Bradley going with the two bigs. Andrews and Sally both on the floor. That's helped them defensively, helped them rebound in the basketball. But Sally can't take an open jump shot and miss it that badly if he wants to stay in.
Northern Iowa retains possession, 55-47. A little hanging runner right there, no good by Jostin. And Ruffin the other way. Franklin.
Nice.
And Jostin got him.
Now, Jostin is the defensive stopper, but look, Will Franklin has an excellent first step. He reads it. There's no help in the lane, and he makes Jostin pay for leading with that. Watch, his left foot's forward, so you go at that lead left foot. Drive to the right, no help going to the basket. Nice drive by Will Franklin.
Will Franklin to the free throw line. Reigning Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. Hits his first free throw of the night. Junior college transfer out of Kilgore Junior College in Texas. He is a Houston native. And an off night for Will Franklin.
Now McGowan in, but he's at the wing. Got McGowan and Veed at the wings. A little bit of a different lineup. Coleman out because of those fouls.
So freshman Heligba back in there running the point. And this is McGowan, the team leader for this Northern Iowa team. Big three-pointer right there by Grant Stout. The lead back up to double figures. Stout in double figures. He's got a double-double, in fact, 10 points, 12 boards.
This is called horns, Dave. It's a pro set. You roll the ball side screener down. You bring the weak side post up. And that's the beauty of having two bigs in the game right now who can shoot the three. Grant Stout is not going to out-athlete you, but he is going to outsmart you, out-position you. And while he has a bit of a balance problem shooting when he catches the basketball, it always comes off his hand looking pure.
Crouch uncharacteristically missed one earlier. He rolls that one home. He now has 13.
Well, iron in his diet there in the free throw line.
See Danny Adams checking in. Another very good outside shooter. Basically say that for just every guy on the Bradley team. Great shooting team as Crouch hits another one.
Great shooting coach, great shooting team.
Jim Les came in second in the three-point shooting contest All-Star Weekend when he was in the NBA. Just a great passer, great shooter as well.
This is big for Northern Iowa, especially playing with freshmen on the floor.
Cook in there as well, 34, so two freshmen in there, as you point out, Doug. And Heligba now with 5 on the shot clock. Doesn't get it to go. Battle for the rebound. And Heligba fighting in there, goes up and draws the foul.
Well, it hasn't been pretty, but Heligba, he smells points. Shot clock running down, trying to create his own offense.
So the freshman Heligba will shoot a couple when we come back. Good, tight game all of a sudden. 58-50, Northern Iowa on top.
Sports sedans have come to be regarded as purely machine. But when design functions as a display of human skill and craftsmanship, rather than simply mechanical precision, the machine can evoke emotion. It can shape how you experience the road. It can go beyond machine. The all-new G is here, and it's from Infinity. Come see the all-new G, now at the Infinity Limited Engagement Winter Event.
When you get a cold, you can't always slow down. But you can feel better faster with NyQuil at night and DayQuil during the day. Together, they can give you the relief you need to keep going. So leave the coughing, aching, and fever behind with NyQuil at night and DayQuil during the day. Feel better faster.
Sadly, many deserving online videos go unwatched every day. Without you, music videos, news clips, full-length TV shows, and many other worthy videos will never reach their full potential. Fortunately, there's a solution. For just 0 cents a day, you can bring a quality online video into your life whenever you want. Make a difference. Just click play.
This message brought to you by video.aol.com.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Infinity, makers of the all-new 306 horsepower G, designed beyond machine.
A lot of enthusiasm here in Cedar Falls, Iowa. 58-50, Northern Iowa on top of Bradley, about midway through the second half. Don't forget, double dose of college hoops Saturday on ESPN2. First at noon Eastern, Roy Hibbert, Georgetown taking on Michigan. Then at 2 Eastern time, A.J. Price and UConn battle Big East rival West Virginia. It's college basketball on ESPN2 on Saturday. And Missouri Valley fans, game at 4 o'clock Eastern time as well.
Nice little self-promo.
Where we will be at.
Missouri State. Creighton will be at the Quest Center. Fourth team we'll get to see from this conference. We've seen Bradley once before in person.
See Bradley going through a drought at the worst time right now. 5:15 without a field goal. Had a similar drought in the first half. They were really cutting into this lead. It's back up to 8 now, and a Heligba, the freshman, could extend it back up to 10. He hits the free throws, and the freshman out of Minneapolis hits the first one.
We talked about out of Minneapolis. Minneapolis has been a fertile recruiting ground even for Bradley, getting Patrick O'Brien.
Cageot is how you pronounce that first name, in case you're curious. This is the second one badly.
Now, those are two very different free throws.
They really were, weren't they? Totally different guy. Adams misses the three. Comes back out, though, to Crouch. Crouch into the lane. Rattles out. And the rebound to Veet.
Great box out. Great box out by Northern Iowa. I mean, he had 4 white shirts in the lane, completely walling off that lane.
Stout. Crouch picks him up. Trying to get back out to a Heligba, but Franklin with the steal. The other way on a Heligba. Gets him in the air, misses. And Veet had the rebound for a moment. Ruffin is so quick. And then he gets fouled. I'll tell you, Ruffin can really change games with his defenses. McAllen went down hard there, and what he got for it was a foul.
Yeah, also give credit to Heligba. His size and athleticism is really giving the guards for Bradley problems. He's 2-3 inches taller than both Ruffin and Franklin, but Ruffin just will not be denied taking the basketball from Northern Iowa repeatedly here in the second half. Look at the rebound.
We thought rebounds might be an issue in this game. Northern Iowa +6, Bradley -3. It has turned out to be a big story. A dozen for Daniel Ruffin.
Yeah, Coleman back in the game with 4 personal fouls. And Jacobson saying, hey, you got 4, but you get 5. You see what a veteran player does with foul trouble. He's been in these situations many times before.
59-52. 7-point game, so we'll keep an eye on Coleman. 2 for Northern Iowa.
Screen will step in, post up.
Out of the corner, Brown misses that one. Crouch coming the other way. He's got Sally. Come down with it, and Sally throws it off the rim.
Very fortunate.
And it went off Northern Iowa as it hit McGowan in the head.
Let's just be honest, that was lucky. That was lucky.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, just a terrible lead pass by Crouch. Now, you're a shooter. Just shoot it. Shoot it towards him.
Hit that Stout in the head, I should say. I said McGowan. No chance for the Braves here to cut it to 4 with a 3. I thought about it. He'll penetrate instead. No call there. Remember, Coleman has 4.
Wow.
And the 3 by Franklin is good. 9 points now for Franklin.
Well, they don't like it inside the McLeod Center, but frankly, probably a pretty good call. Because, you could have called it either way. It's better to just swallow the whistle, let the guys play, and Franklin knocks down another huge 3.
Now McCowan, we'll see if the seniors take over. Knocked away by Ruffin, but he gets called for the foul.
That's a good call. Again, the drive to the baseline, penetrate and kick. I mean, Coleman is fortunate they didn't call a foul. He just kind of flopped on the baseline drive. Could have called it either way. Why call it? I like the no call. Let guys play.
So now Brooks McCowan to the free throw line. Told you off the top, the all-time leading scorer in the state of Iowa, 2,831 points. He scored over 1,000 points his senior year of high school. I mean, listen to that, 36 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. That's pretty good. Those were his averages.
I understand, but actually 2,800 points is not that many when you look at throughout the nation as far as points.
No, I agree with that, but 1,000 in a season is a lot.
It's ridiculous.
I agree. 2,800. I was surprised that was the all-time lead.
It was the smallest school, wasn't it?
No, it's all-time. Any.
No, but
school.
he played at the.
He did.
Played in the smallest school.
Why are you trying to discredit?
I'm just. Hey, listen, I'm reporting it.
What do you got against him? J.J. Twy missing there. Rebound is Stout. I can't believe you'd speak as badly as Brooks McCowan.
Just saying, I didn't speak bad, man.
Coleman inside, and the big guy gets 2 more.
And he goes to his right, goes away from the scatter report. Big bucket.
And the crowd coming to life here. Coleman with a dozen, and Jim Less, whose team was within 4 just moments ago, has to call a timeout because the margin now is 8.
Yes, and somebody will ask, what's the difference between Ben Jacobson as a head coach and Greg McDermott last year? And this is the main difference, that they will take fast breaks when they have opportunities, secondary breaks when they have opportunities. Whereas last year, they would walk the ball, play at a very measured pace. They'll do the same this year, but you get a missed quick shot by Bradley, push it up the floor. Coleman hasn't seen an offensive possession without a double team until that play. He goes right to the basket, scores a bucket.
63-55. Northern Iowa on top. Missouri Valley Conference opener for both teams. And look at that rebound differential, Doug. 15. Again, this is a Bradley team. They go with 4 guards, and so you expect to be out-rebounded. But 15, that's a tough margin to overcome.
No, it is a tough margin. And it's not like Northern Iowa. They're playing with 2 bigs. It's not like they're huge and rangy.
Right,
they're doing a better job on the defensive boards, and they're picking their spots in the offensive board.
Big possession here for the Braves. Who'd you go to?
I would go to Will Franklin.
Offensive foul on Franklin. That'll be his 2nd foul. The tide starting to turn again towards the Panthers.
I actually think that's a pretty good call. Now, the whole problem with the charge block call when it's called that way is, does he have to have his feet set, or are you calling the push-off? If you're calling just a simple push-off, all right, fine, he lowered his shoulder. His feet were not set.
This is Brown. 15 seconds to shoot for the Panthers. Now Heligba. Going to shoot the 3, and Heligba misses that one well short. Sally's got the rebound. Ruffin. Now Franklin. Now Will Franklin has come alive here in the second half. Now has 12 points, 9 of them after the break.
And again, created off 2 things. Ruffin getting to the basket, bringing the help. And how about J.J. Twice? Hit some 3s, but he knows Will Franklin's a better shooter, makes the extra pass, you get an open jumper.
Stout guarded by Twy. Coleman. And it went off of Heligba's hand.
Again, created off of Ruffin coming to try and get that steal.
He is a home record. Just goes in there and gets after you. 63-58 after the Franklin
3. So intelligent, it knows precisely when to turn rear-wheel drive performance into old all-wheel drive control. So intuitive, it's beyond machine. The all-new 306 horsepower G from Infiniti. Come see the all-new G now at the Infiniti Limited Engagement Winter Event.
If your wealth isn't working for you, then neither is your financial advisor. Smith Barney Financial Advisors have on average 16 years of industry experience. We don't sell our own mutual funds, so we can offer independent advice. And only Smith Barney Financial Advisors have direct access to the depth of Citigroup's global resources. Experience, independence, depth. Come to Smith Barney, where wealth works.
Jared here. Michael Strahan here.
Subway Restaurants is known for tasty low-fat subs, like this 6-inch Subway Club. Order a footlong and it's still half the fat of a McDonald's Big Mac.
But the real surprise, it's got twice the meat. Fills me up without slowing me down.
Less fat.
More meat.
Less fat.
More meat.
Less fat. More meat. Less fat. More meat. Less fat. More meat. Less fat. More meat.
More meat!
A delicious footlong Subway Club. Less than half the fat of a McDonald's Big Mac,
but twice the meat.
Subway.
Eat fresh.
Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. USC versus Michigan. New Year's Day on ABC.
Stephen A. Smith there. Tonight, quite frankly, Shaq takes on Phil. My front page panel stares down Bobby Knight, and an NBA player spreads holiday cheer. It's all coming your way after the game on ESPN2. What was a 14-point lead at the half, now down to 5. As we remind you, Bob Knight on the brink of history. Texas Tech against UNLV tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on ESPN2 as Knight looks to break the all-time men's win record for Division I on ESPN2. And then if he doesn't get it, they play New Mexico as well on ESPN2.
And look, Ben Jacobson, just 871 wins away from catching Bob Knight. I mean,
should we start the countdown?
We could start the countdown. I think what's lost in the chase for immortality to be the all-time winners coach, in fact, Texas Tech playing far better now than they were a month ago. They went to Kansas City, and they were embarrassed by Air Force, lost to Marquette, playing much better basketball.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that the team is almost a footnote, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they should be. They really are playing well. You're right. Ruffin. Well, Hanger doesn't go. Sally, though, the rebound. Now Twine. Sally spins and loses it.
Well, you got caught with two guys who aren't really comfortable handling the basketball there for Bradley in uncomfortable situations.
Stout. That doesn't go, but Coleman working hard on the glass.
How about Coleman? Just an animal. 4 fouls, but he gets better position and gets the tip in.
14 points now for Coleman. Sally loses it, and here come the Panthers. Now Coleman. A whistle, and it's going to go against Twine. And that's going to be it for J.J. Twine.
Coleman again loves to go left.
J.J. Twine is fouled out of this game. Someone had to go with that foul because Coleman had 4.
Yeah, but you know what? You could have just.
It could have been a no call, but
because that's what they did down the baseline here, and that's the biggest difficulty when you're a player is you just want consistency.
Well, what are you saying? Do you think it was a bad call?
Yeah, I think it should have been a no call.
Based on the other no call?
Based on the other no call, and there was no push off there. It wasn't an offensive foul. I think we both agree on that. I mean, Dwight, do you have to call an offensive foul there? No. Could you call it? Yeah. I mean, I don't find a lot of fault with the call, but if you're going to make a no call when Coleman's on defense and it's essentially the same play, and by the way, J.J. Twy was the one who drove the last time that Coleman flopped on the baseline, then that's all the whistle.
I thought that was a foul.
All right. Well, I mean, I think as a former player, you're looking at it and saying, I just want the same call to be made regardless of when in the game, where in the game, where the game's played.
It's not necessarily identical circumstances.
No, but,
I mean,
but the idea is let players play.
Right.
Let them play. Let the kids decide the game. think there's any malice in the call. I just think he could have swallowed the ball.
Coleman misses the free throw.
Ends up
perhaps
playing
a poetic justice. 65-58, so Bradley still very much in this game. Have to knock down some shots, something they had done very well coming into this game. Crouch missing, Coleman the rebound. There's a team built for a comeback. It is certainly Bradley. Second in the nation, three-point field goal percentage.
That would be a foul.
You think?
Yes.
All right.
I believe that is, in Central Park, they call that a mugging. Just to make sure. Here's where Eric Coleman's smart. He gets the ball down low. He knows that when he puts it on the floor, if he takes his time and looks for the double team, it's coming. He went right after Matt Sally.
That's the second foul on Sally. So Coleman back to the free throw line. 61% on the year, and he hits that one.
Tell you what's going to be interesting. In Northern Iowa, so far undefeated against other teams in the state of Iowa. So is Drake for the first time in 27 years.
Yeah.
With that for the Iowa State Championship, they go at it 2 times this year.
Yeah, those two play head-to-head twice. Coming up here, obviously, conference foes. They play in Des Moines January 27th, in Cedar Falls on February 8th. Now Ruffin shooting the 3, and he gets fouled.
Well, everybody left Ruffin. Ruffin all alone. Brown saw it, ran out the last second. Well, Ruffin got touched, but he may actually win an Oscar for that action.
The last time that Northern Iowa beat Iowa and Iowa State the same season was 97-98 when Eldon Miller was the coach here as Ruffin hits the first free throw. And Northern Iowa actually won both games against Drake that year as well. This is just the second ever sweep of Iowa and Iowa State.
Well, we were at the Iowa-Drake game, and Dr. Tom Davis, the first time in 27 years, beat the Hawkeyes.
You want to talk about sweet revenge, although Tom Davis is such a class act, he would never say it. But obviously some bitter feelings when he left there at Iowa as Crouch commits the foul in the backcourt.
I think if you got Jim Less a pair of sneakers, he would love to get out there and get at the top of that press.
He is fiery,
yes.
Isn't he?
Yes.
Very competitive guy.
Well, his team reflects that. And he is chewing on the fish as we speak. I was talking with the assistant coaches before the game. We said we've had to split them up. You know, a lot of times you get to December. A lot of times you get to December and you have a first team, 6-7 guys, and they're going against the second team day after day, and they start to beat the second team down. These guys, Will Franklin, Ruffin, they asked to be split up so they go against each other except for the day before the game. They want to get after it.
Coleman missing both the free throws. Battle for the rebound. It's going to be Northern Iowa ball.
Now, Zach Andrews, he hasn't had a particularly good game. This is a mental error. He goes, when the free throw goes up, he goes after the basketball instead of blocking out Grant Stout. Because he did so, the ball went out on him, and Northern Iowa gets another possession.
Now Coleman takes his seat. We'll see whether he checks back in here momentarily. And Northern Iowa needs to call timeout, unable to get the ball in bounds. What's the logic of sitting Coleman in this situation here, Doug?
Well, he's not a great free throw shooter. Just missed one, and he has 4 personal fouls, and you want to use him in spots.
Okay.
You have 2 timeouts. You can get a defensive rebound, call a timeout, run a play for him. But I would say it's probably because of free throws. And they have so many good free throw shooters on this team.
Right. We see the line on Coleman: 16 points, 13 rebounds.
Monster. Now can you round up? Now will he be average a double-double?
I don't know. You have
9.8.
If he gets it to 10. That's how you average a
9.8 is close enough. You average essentially, could you say essentially a double-double?
You could say essentially,
right.
Yeah. That's Eric Coleman, who essentially averages a double-double. See, I couldn't even say it. Right. I just couldn't bring myself to say it statistically.
Northern Iowa's been very impressive. The lone really mark on their record, forget the Washington loss, they led the Huskies on the road in Seattle for about 35, 36 minutes. Losing to Loyola Chicago, this would really help. National TV, national exposure. helps even that selection committee see, Northern Iowa is still a very good team despite the fact they lose the likes of Ben Jacobson and others. Crawford from last year.
Down being hounded there by Ruffin. Jostin, that doesn't go. Rebound knocked out of bounds. It's going to go to the Braves.
He's going to Eric Coleman for defense.
I would like to report that Coleman now averages 10 rebounds per game.
Nice.
Exactly. 10.8.
Now he averages a double-double. You can say it with confidence.
Yeah.
You can say it with pride.
Our statistician, Beth, coming through. Quite frankly, with Stephen A. Smith up next here on ESPN2. And a steal there as Franklin lost it to Jostin. And a timeout called by Ben Jacobson. Ben Jacobson taking over this Northern Iowa program that has been to the NCAA tournament now each of the last 3 years, and that really puts them in some very exclusive company, Doug. Only 23 other schools can make the claim of being in the tourney 3 straight years, but when you pare it down to the mid-majors, UAB, Nevada, Pacific, Southern Illinois, and then Gonzaga, who I don't count as a mid-major, so that's it. And Northern Iowa, I mean, that's a really good club to be in.
It's very important that people understand mid-major is not a bad term. This is a mid-major program. It's a classic mid-major program.
Yes.
And by the way, if it wasn't successful, they wouldn't have been able to build this arena and fill this arena. I think he made the right decision taking on this job. The last 3 years' success can just continue to build and build and build and make this into a juggernaut of a program. You now have a beautiful facility, which is the perfect size. That's the big thing. 7,000 seats is perfect for this conference, for this area. UAB Pacific probably don't make the tournament this year. So you get Northern Iowa makes the tournament. Now the company would become even more select.
McGowan with a shot clock at 10. McGowan going to try the three. Doesn't go, but the rebound is Stout, and he puts it in. Now Bradley's really got to hurry. And Ruffin offensive foul, and that just might do it.
Yep.
What a tough turn of events. That ball just hit the rim one more time than the Bradley guys thought it was going to. That's how Stout got the rebound, and then Ruffin, what do you think of that call?
I think that's a good call. He beat him to the baseline. He stepped on the baseline. That's a pretty good call. But Sally made the critical error again on the rebound of going for the ball, not for his man.
That's the fourth foul on Ruffin, and it's Northern Iowa and Bradley, two of the 4 teams from the Missouri Valley Conference who made the NCAA tournament last year. Dave Revson alongside Doug Gottlieb, and this is the Missouri Valley opener for both of these teams. Both had successful non-conference schedules. Northern Iowa going 9-2, Bradley going 8-3. And this is a game, Doug, that's been basically controlled by Northern Iowa, although Bradley made a nice run here in the second half.
Yeah, no, Northern Iowa's been the better team tonight. They have, with the exception of turning the ball over, Bradley was out of sorts almost the entire first half. Northern Iowa impressive. The collection, the talent, not necessarily great, but good enough, very smart veteran players.
A whistle and a foul against the Panthers.
I mean, you look at Northern Iowa's starting 5, and you tell me which one of these guys starts, for example, at Iowa.
At Iowa?
At Iowa. We saw Iowa play against Drake. Tell me which individual guy? Maybe Coleman?
Yeah, I think Coleman would start for Iowa.
Okay, one guy.
I think he's better than their bigs, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was fairly unimpressed with Iowa's bigs. Okay, Eric Coleman, I'll give you that. Who is averaging a double-double. We made that clear.
He is now.
Outside of that, I mean, McAllen's a nice player. Stout's a nice player, probably don't start. However, the individual parts are not as good as the collective unit, and the collective unit has gotten them to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. That's what continues to be impressive about this club.
That's going to go against Danny Adams. No, I agree with you. I mean, but I think that's the mid-major success recipe. the whole greater than the sum of the parts. I mean, I think if you look across the nation at mid-majors that have success, that's what it's about. When we were watching the Drake Iowa game, the thing you pointed out to me, it was great that we were talking about today with the guy you're looking at right there, Ben Jacobson, is how old Drake's team was.
Yeah, Drake's youngest player is 21 years old. Everybody else 22 and 23.
Yep.
You don't have that at Texas, at Kansas, at the big, because they lose players to the NBA draft.
Stout hits the first free throw.
Whereas you have players like Stout, players like Coleman, stay here, productive players, and improve during their time. Same thing with Bradley. Ruffin, Franklin, Crouch, look at how they've improved in their time in Peoria. It's quality coaching, quality players.
Well, they don't want to leave these guys open because Bradley's a great three-point shooting team, but it just hasn't worked for him tonight. Adams missing that one. And Northern Iowa going to head back to the free throw line after the foul on Sally.
You know, the other thing I'm a big fan of with the Valley is the fact that teams play each other twice. I love that. Play each other. You don't get that in the Big 12. You don't get that in the new ACC or the Big 12. You get it in the Pac-10. Just get it. You have 10 teams. Everybody plays each other twice.
I'll tell you, the home court advantage is huge in this league. And you and we were at a great game as we've been talking about Iowa against Drake. So in terms of the atmosphere there in Des Moines was tremendous. Yeah. We've been to Carbondale. This is going to be a great atmosphere advantage for Northern Iowa, where I think they haven't had a great advantage previously with the Unidome.
Yeah, the Unidome was essentially a mausoleum. It wasn't an advantage, it wasn't a disadvantage. It was just a place where they set up a basketball floor in a multi-purpose facility.
Ruffin hitting for Bradley. 9-point game.
Now Northern Iowa sets up a matchup with Wichita State, a team that really, you talk about what the Valley has done in the non-conference. A lot of it is based upon Wichita State and what they've done. They go and beat George Mason on the road, go and beat Syracuse on the road, LSU on the road, Wyoming and Casper, Wyoming.
There you see the non-conference record for the Valley. And that might, look, you can play patsies and build up a good non-conference record, but that's not what the Missouri Valley has done. I mean, you talked about some of those quality wins for Wichita State. And, yeah, you go with just about anyone in this league, and they've beaten a good team.
Yeah, I mean, look at Bradley. Bradley dominated DePaul first game of the season by 20 in Peoria. Granted, they were blown out by Michigan State on the road, but gave Illinois everything they wanted. Beat Rutgers by 29. Beat Iowa State. A game was 10-point game. Could have been worse. Now, 3 teams in this league have beaten Iowa State. But I think the Valley has truly arrived, and the reason is that you have coaching consistency, play consistency, and against the top conferences, that speaks volumes when you look what they've done against the Big East. Granted, most of it bottom of the Big East with the exception of Syracuse, but still, quality record against quality conference.
And then one word that sticks out to me that I think really tells you everything you need to know about how good this league is because of how deep it is Indiana State, which is the team with the worst RPI in this league, 111. And it's not a power conference team, but it's a team that has done really well, is Butler. They beat Butler. So if you've got what, at least in terms of the power rankings, is the worst team in your league, and they beat another great mid-major in Butler, I think that speaks volumes about the depth of this league, and there's going to be no easy games in the Missouri Valley.
It does. In fairness, now Indiana State beat Indiana last year at home, and then went on to have a disappointing season. They had some injuries. And again, home court advantage in this league. But no, it's a valid point. It's mid-major is not a bad word. And this is the best of the mid-major leagues. I guess you question whether the Mountain West is a mid-major league. I'd probably say for the most part it is, with the exception maybe the top part of the league, maybe close to high major based upon their funding. And in fact, they have football. But this league has become special because they can pay their basketball coaches because they don't have football, and basketball drives the revenue streams for the athletic departments.
I think there's a sense that mid-major is a pejorative term, and I certainly don't use it that way. I think it's just a descriptive term that, this is what they are.
I don't use pejorative in a sentence, so that.
I've heard you drop a pejorative.
You got to share the word that Jay Billis used in his three-point shots.
Oh, yeah, what was it? No, it's escaped my mind.
Something.
I'll think of it.
Okay.
It was a good word.
Yeah.
It was.
You're playing Scrabble at home.
It validated his time in law school. Grant Stout rattles that one home.
He's playing Scrabble at home while watching the game. They're wondering. They're on bated breath.
Stout's got one more.
You know the big difference in mid-major, high-major?
What's that?
Ben Jacobson, head coach at Northern Iowa, told us where he's going after the game. This is where we're going. This is where we be.
Why don't you guys join us?
Yeah, why don't you guys join us? We'll have a cold. We hung out with Coach Jim Calhoun, Hall of Famer, last week.
He didn't mention the postgame, did he?
He did not.
We had a great time with him.
Yes, we did.
But he didn't say where he'd be postgame.
I'll bet he's watching.
Those guys watch a ton of basketball. That was what was amazing. Talking to the UConn staff. George Blaney as well watches a ton of hoops.
We may use pejorative in a sentence in describing this weekend's game against West Virginia on ESPN.
You think so?
Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would really apply. You need to be pejorative about your use of the English language.
That's
a good win for Ben Jacobson.
Yep. Very good win. Great home crowd, solid play, solid defense, good win.
Again, our final score, Northern Iowa 76, Bradley 65. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Let's go to Scott Reese in the studio. Scott?
All right, Rever, thanks so much. So a nice win for the Panthers to start conference play. They improve to 11-2. Want to remind you about a big doubleheader tomorrow night on ESPN2. It's Rutgers and number 2 North Carolina at 7 Eastern. And then Bob Knight with a chance to become the all-time winningest coach in men's college hoop history as Texas Tech hosts UNLV, 9 Eastern on ESPN2 HD. Top 25 scores, a limited schedule today. Wisconsin, no problem with Gardner-Webb. Likewise for UConn against Coppin State, and LSU behind 26 from Big Baby, 71-45 over Wright State. Over on ESPN, the Emerald Bowl, Florida State and UCLA meeting for the first time ever, if you can believe that. Shane Moline with the 8-yard touchdown run. That puts the Bruins up 27-23, but the Noles have come right back with a touchdown of their own, extra point on the way, and it would be a 3-point lead for Florida State. Looks like a great ending, and once again, you can catch it on ESPN HD. And that'll do it from the studio. I'm Scott Reese. Thanks for watching, everybody. Quite frankly, with Stephen A. Smith is coming up next. Have a great night.
Who's the best team in football? By the way, there's a whole bunch of coaches in the NFL that should be fired. And how about them Cowboys? I don't know the answer to that stuff, but I guarantee you I got somebody showing up who does. Roll the animation. Also tonight, my front page panel gives their views on the sports story of 2006 and why Miss USA ain't who she used to be. Plus, the most serious charges have been dropped against the Duke lacrosse team in the alleged rape scandal. But you'll never guess who's on the firing line now. I've got all that and more next on Quite Frankly. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Appreciate the love. Thank you very, very much. Welcome to Quite Frankly. First of all, I just want to say that I hope everybody's having a great holiday season because I'm definitely enjoying myself. And it's real good to be sharing a part of it with you. I got a great show in store for you today with my front page panel waiting in the wings. But first, with the final week of the NFL regular season coming up, I thought I'd put together an A-list of the top storylines as we look toward the playoffs. Joining me right now to help out with the A-list is Mr. Sean Salisbury, an NFL analyst for ESPN, my personal favorite, by the way. Sean, welcome to the show. Happy holidays and all of that good stuff. Let's get to my A-list, my man. At number 5, more than a few head coaches on the hot seat. So before we get into the teams with Super Bowl aspirations, tell me which coaches will be out of work after the season ends this weekend, Sean.
Well, yeah, Stephen, I think you could see as many as 6 to 8 coaches that are on the hot seat. A couple of them, Art Shell looks to me like he wants to be out. I mean, watching that offense, and Bill Cowher, depending on his decision. But I think if he wants to go or come back. To me, the two on the hottest seat are Jim Mora in Atlanta. You just can't say what he said and then be a mediocre football team. And there's no question Tom Coughlin. I mean, this is a team that's a finger point from players to coach to player. They need to start all over. I know Ernie, of course, he's retiring. There's time for changes in both those cities. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's got to be. I think those two are on the hottest seat of all. I think Diddy Green retains his job, and I think he should, and a couple other situations, but those two definitely new coaches in 07.
So, Sean, just for clarity, you're saying Tom Coughlin deserves the heat that's coming his way?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, first of all, we talk about discipline with Tom, and there is no discipline on this football team. Nobody gets more personal fouls. I mean, they're underachieving. There's too much talent. I don't understand the rhyme or the reason. Then at the end, you slap your offensive coordinator in the face by making a change as if that's going to make the difference. Bottom line is, you're the one who hired these guys. You should always stick by your coaches. I like Tom. I just don't think it's time for him in New York. They need a change and a fresh face.
Sean, how weak can it be to get rid of your offensive coordinator, the guy that's calling the plays just a week before the season ends? Isn't he about 8 weeks late?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. At 6-2, if you start to see a pattern, when you're 6-3 and 6-4, then maybe you start to say, well, we got to fix this. But to come when the season's on the line and say, oh, let's get Kevin Gilbride in as if Nostradamus is taking over, no. It's a major slap in the face, and they say it's not. Give me a break. All you're doing is saying, I confess, it's somebody else's fault. And if that's the case, talk about rolling them over the bus and then backing it up in reverse. That's the reason why. Your leader cannot be the guy who is a major finger pointer. And unfortunately, it's not just Tom, but there's players on the team that do the same thing. This team's too talented to be floundering and possibly be out of the playoffs. Changes must be made unless they're able to go on some miracle Super Bowl run. They're not good enough to do that, Stephen A.
Sean, let's move to number 4 on my A-list. Every week we hear all kinds of ridiculousness coming out of Dallas. This is even more magnified this week after losing the division lead to the Eagles on Christmas Day. What is wrong with these Cowboys, Sean?
I think there's a lot, Stephen. I do. When you take a look at, they don't protect the pass